Welcome to Retro Video Playback and to episode 12 of Tape Talk Tuesday, an episodic video series where I showcase and discuss various movies on VHS. This week I'll be taking a look at Rear Window, a movie where L.B. Jeffries, played by the amazing Jimmy Stewart, after being confined to his apartment when he breaks his leg, takes to watching his neighbors in the rear courtyard and believes that one of them killed their wife. A cinematic masterpiece from 1954, Rear Window is one of my favorite movies of all time. And don't get it twisted when I use the term cinematic masterpiece, I'm no film snob. Some of my other favorites include movies like Friday the 13th and Dazed and Confused, so there's a lot of diversity there. But I use that term here because Rear Window is overwhelmingly revered as amazing filmmaking. A movie that has held up over time, now 70 years old, Rear Window was first available on VHS in the mid-1980s. And I say mid-1980s because while an online search states 1984 as the year it was first released on VHS, the copyright year on the tape's label states 1986, so to be safe, we'll just stick with mid-80s. This one wasn't an easy find for me. Though VHS collecting is based a lot on sheer availability of certain movies, it's also a lot about timing and luck. I frequent the thrift stores in my area, sometimes leaving with a bag full of tapes, sometimes leaving empty-handed. I haven't had any incredible or rare finds, but I've come across some tapes that would have otherwise cost me far more online. After keeping an eye out for Rear Window on VHS at the various stores, but never being able to find it, I eventually decided to just buy it online, paying around 16 Canadian dollars, which really isn't too bad. For me, it's worth paying more for some movies that I want in my collection, especially my top all-time movies. Even though Rear Window is one of my favorites, I'm going to be honest, this VHS cover's design is flat out terrible. It's not ugly, but it's very boring and feels like it was lazily designed. To start, the box has an all-over beige-yellow background, which feels thematically inappropriate for the movie. Rear Window is a dark, tense thriller, and this yellow feels more appropriate for a movie like Singing in the Rain. Next is the typical Alfred Hitchcock side profile, which, fine, they slapped that on everything at some point to capitalize on his likeness, so I'll accept it here, understanding its purpose. In the center of the cover it reads, James Stewart in Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. I have no issue with this titling, and the font choice feels appropriate for Rear Window. Below the title is a still from the movie, James Stewart in a wheelchair with Lisa, played by Grace Kelly, who, if I may, is in my opinion the most beautiful actress of all time, and she had the acting chops too.
Yeah, she's only perfect.
She's too perfect. She's too talented. She's too beautiful. She's too sophisticated.
Both of these actors appeared in additional Hitchcock movies, Jimmy Stewart in Rope, The Man Who Knew Too Much, and Vertigo, and Grace Kelly in Dial M for Murder and To Catch a Thief. This shot from the movie feels like a strange choice for the VHS cover. It's as if whoever was putting it together landed on the first still they could find that contained both movies' primary characters and thought, good enough. It's not artistically styled, it's not an exciting scene, it's just a shot of a normal scene in the movie. Fortunately, they did a better job with the covers and artwork on future releases, like in this Hitchcock Blu-ray box set, or this 4K Blu-ray, which is also just a still from the movie, but it's at least emblematic of the movie's plot. But we're left with this amazing movie on VHS with a very bland cover. The top and the spines have Rear Window in the same font as the front cover. The left spine contains an MCA home video logo, copyright information, printed in USA, and at the bottom are some VHS tape particulars. The right spine has the same information as the left, but in a different configuration to accommodate a barcode at the top. The back of the box continues with the same background color and header, below which is the color identification, movie runtime, and PG rating. We then have another still of Jimmy and Grace in an intimate discussion. A second still to the lower right is a shot of Jimmy Stewart peering over top of his camera as he looks out onto the courtyard, not unlike the 4K cover I showed a few moments ago. This still would have been far better as a choice for the front cover, as it essentially captures the movie's plot with the apartment complex reflected in the camera's lens. Between the movie stills is the write-up. Alfred Hitchcock amply demonstrates why he's been called the master of suspense with this witty and macabre tale of voyeurism and murder, starring two of the screen's all-time favorites, Academy Award winner Jimmy Stewart and the late Grace Kelly. As a photographer with a broken leg, Stewart takes up the fine art of spying on his Greenwich Village neighbors during a summer heat wave. But things really begin to get hot for Stewart, Kelly, and the unassuming audience when he suspects neighbor Raymond Burr of murdering his invalid wife and burying the body in a flower garden. Unavailable for viewing for over 2 decades, Rear Window is among the peerless director's favorite films and is considered by critics as one of his greatest. Next are the movie's production credits and copyright information, plus a special look at other MCA attractions, which in reality is actually just a single featurette for Hitchcock's movie Frenzy. Finally is a black sticker with MCA home video details. I've seen this sticker on some other MCA releases from the 80s, and it's my assumption that the sticker was used for Canadian markets, meaning on the box itself beneath the sticker is MCA home videos information for the United States, along with other copyright information. You can also see a bit of Dolby copyright information peeking out at the bottom. The tape contains a paper label on the face and another on the spine, both displaying Rear Window in the same font as the box. The face label also has a bunch of information we previously saw on the box, including an MCA home video logo and copyright information, color identification, movie runtime, VHS logos, and copyright. Closing out the label is a large warning against reproduction and public presentation of the tape. The spine label has similar information and states printed in Canada. As I previously noted, Rear Window is now over 70 years old. As a result, it's seen its share of releases, as recently as this 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray that was released in September 2021. And even though it's a great watch on 4K, it's almost too clear, if that's even possible. Everything just feels too cleaned up and polished. So if you can find it on VHS, I'd recommend checking it out on tape instead. With that, we find ourselves at the end of our discussion of Rear Window on VHS, and the end of episode 12 of Tape Talk Tuesday. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching Retro Video Playback.